we want to point to the missed Will Lutz field goal. We want to point to the leverage call on the Colts field goal. And you know what? There's probably about 5 or 6 moments in that game that you could handpick that any one of those 5 or 6 kind of lost the game for you. And what a bummer it was, man. I mean, because the offense did a lot of good things. The offense did a lot of great things.
Sure.
Not in the fourth, not late in the third. They didn't. But they did a lot of good things. Defense, good Lord, man. What happened? What's going on with this defense?
What is going on? Leading tackler was Pat Surtain.
Yeah, they were going after Pat all game long.
They weren't
Daniel
shy
Jones
about that.
is like, yeah, I'm too dumb to know who Pat Surtain is, so I'm just going to throw at him all day long, and it's going to work.
Surtain, statistically, arguably, might have had the worst game of his career.
Maybe.
When you look at some of the numbers, I got him here.
Well, I wonder how many times in his career he's ever been targeted that much.
I'll give you some stuff here. So, when targeting cornerback Pat Surtain, 7 receptions on 9 targets, 63 yards, 1 penalty.
Wow, 9 targets.
His second most targets in one game in his career. 25.7% of the targets his way compared to 2.9% in week 1. So by that measure, if you're going to go off that, now Sean Payton, when asked about it earlier today, said, well, it was more about where the coverages were. But he did say, I'm sure Pat will go look at the film to see where he can clean up some of his mechanics. So even Sean Payton said, Surtain, like, there were things he could have done better. So it was like that. Well, let's talk. I mean, we can work through everything. Obviously, we got plenty of time today. But the leverage call.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I bet that happens all the time. I hate being wrong. I mean, I hate it. I hate being wrong, Tyler, more than I like being right. And I just thought, you know what? That's not in the spirit of the game. I still kind of don't think it's in the spirit of the game. But I just thought, that's a play that gets called all the time. In fact, if you go and look at Lutz's doink, looks like a leverage thing to me from the Colts. But that being said, there's a video out there of every single 26 game-winning kicks from last season. 26 of them. And I went through all of them. It's about a 6.5-minute video, Tyler, and maybe 3, 4, none were called, but maybe only 3 or 4 would even be close. And so when I looked at it, then I went and looked at the Broncos kick coverage, how they called it on the 4 previous kicks. Total different alignment. Like, total different alignment. They didn't get close to it. So what was it? Tyler, it was a called block. Like, they changed the way they were going after a kick for that. That was a coaching call.
Yeah. I mean, first off, I don't think you're wrong in saying that it happens all the time. It does. It does happen all the time. It does not get called. I believe it gets called about 3 times a year in all of the games. I think that's what I read, 3 times per year. Every game in the NFL, that's about how often it actually gets called.
I got numbers on that. It's the 51st time it's been called since 2010, Tyler. 3,037 total games. The call rate, 1.65%.
Yeah. I mean, now if you wanted to break it down to semantics, and there were a couple plays from the Colts where they got their hands on our offensive linemen's back, and it looked very similar in nature. I do think that you're going to be able to find plenty of examples out there. Look, was it ticky-tack? I think so. It was. Was it letter of the law ruled correctly? Yeah, it was. And both those things are true, right? So I don't know, man. Look, there's about 3 or 4 different ways that you can attack a field goal block. And it's not as simple as you just line up and rush. No, it's not. There's about 4 different calls. You got a right block, you got a left block, you could go double middle, you could go you could spread, you could put 2 guys in the A gap and you could split them out to try to get the guard to fall on his face. There's a lot of variations of how you go about it. The call, and Sean admitted this, but the call that they had in this one, probably more of a call for a shorter field goal.
Here's Sean earlier today, and he fell on the sword for this one strong.
Yeah, I think there's some similarities and I spoke about it actually in the locker room yesterday, and then there's some differences. And I would say this, number one, we had a certain field goal block in the event of a game-ending field goal, much like the PAT where Justin Simmons jumps cleanly and blocks the PAT in New Orleans. But that's on me in that situation. And look, it's not on Darren. It's not on Tillman. With a 60-yard field goal attempt, it's different. The alignment got wrong, and the call was correct. You can, as a defensive line, you can push down on the back of the center and offensive lineman. You can push down on the back, specifically if you're going to go internally on the guards. You can push down. You can't push the jump. So a common block would be to push down with one player and then to clear jump with another. The alignment got mixed up between Tillman and one of the other tackles. The call was correct. That was leveraging. You can't put your hands and to elevate yourself off one of your own guys or off one of the opponent players. But my big regret flying home was, that's more for a closer field goal. That's more for a gimme than a 60-yard attempt, and that's on me.
Okay, and Parker Gabriel points out of the Denver Post. Parker, what research he did here, Tyler? Watched 54 field goals and extra points with DeAndre Tillman on the field preseason regular postgame since the start of 2024. Wow, he had some time on his hands. He's never lined up where he did on the 60-yarder or been near the long snapper, always over a tight end or a wing. And Sean Payton was asked, Parker earlier today asked him more specifics about the alignment.
No, we felt Tillman had some jumped pretty well. The idea was to work 90 of their field goal protection unit who lined up at left guard, where DJ is going to be able to push down. That's legal. And then right at the last minute, they flip sides inside. And so now we're on a different defender or a different offensive blocker. And so, but I think, no, to your question, I think Tillman has some pretty good leaps, and just ended up, we ended up on the wrong side and we didn't execute it. And before any and all of that, though, we should be working a normal rush, a normal interior rush with a 60-yard attempt.
He goes through all of that to say they overcoached the whole thing. Did you follow that? Number 90 was supposed to be on DJ Jones's side. And if you watch the play, Jones and Awazarike pushed down on the guard, the left guard, and the center. The penalty was over the right guard, who wasn't supposed to, I guess, be the right guard. He was supposed to be the left guard. Tillman doesn't normally line up there. They actually don't run this particular call all that often. And Tyler, to me, this is an example of Sean Payton, who took blame for it, as he should have, way overthinking and coach it. The morning show, I don't know if you heard it, but Vic Lombardi was hysterical. He said they should have just taken their helmets off and been smoking cigarettes, burning heaters while the kick was going on. So,
here's how this could happen. And first off, I guess credit to Sean for taking the blame. I don't think the blame's on him. He said don't blame Darren Rizzi. Sean Payton's not coming up with the field goal blocks. He's not doing that. He's just being a good general and falling on the sword because he's the head coach. At the end of the day, the buck does stop with him. So I guess credit to him. But he doesn't design these things. That's not his job. His job might be able to be throughout the week. What they say is, okay, we've got an end of the game situation. What's our best block? And this is their best block. And so maybe what he's saying is we really should have differentiated, okay, our best block for a 35-yard field goal versus our best block for a 60-yard field goal. But I actually don't put it on Sean at all. That's got to be on the special teams coach, and your special teams coach has got to be able to help him out.